All right. Life is just a fantasy. Can you live that fantasy life? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the Ono Coffee channel at 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. How y'all doing? Welcome back to the show. I'm Jay, your host, and today we're talking about this new brewer, the Hario V60 Mugen. And yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Oh, before we get off, one thing I want to let you know that we're making a change in this week's schedule. Even though we are the Monday through Friday show, tomorrow, Thursday, we will not be having tomorrow's live stream because looks like I have to run up to Pennsylvania to go to this mill because I've secured a slab of white oak that we need to mill. And so the window to get the mill is in the morning. So we're going to head up there, and it's about an hour or two away from here. So that's going to take up most of the morning. So I got to do that. So we will not have a live stream tomorrow. We will return on Friday with our programming. And tomorrow's stream that we're supposed to go over the Cafec flower dripper, we're going to push that to Monday. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on. Keone, how are you, man? Good to see you. How's everything? Hope things are well in Hawaii. All right, so this is the Mugen. The Mugen, I got this from Amazon Japan. And I got it because really, I don't know why I got it. I was like, of course, I was buying this. This is the main reason, the Suiren. But I was like, okay, I need to order some other stuff because what am I going to do otherwise? So I ordered that. And of course, yesterday we looked at the Pegasus, right? Nice little dripper there. And so I thought, let's do the Mugen because that's kind of popular. And yeah, so let's get into it. I don't know much about it. It's a conical brewer, a little bit different than the V60s. I don't know why they keep making so many brewers. Is it necessary to make so many brewers? I don't know, but let's open it and see what's going on in here. Well, I guess we should look at the size. There's not too much. There is a how to use. So if you want to scan that, you can scan it. And then, yeah, look, got a little bit of crushed in the shipping. Not terribly like fancy. Ooh, here's a V60 dripper Mugen. And so don't exceed, the 90 degrees, or don't exceed 120 degrees Celsius. I want you to keep within range. And then here's a little bit. How to brew coffee, fold the paper filter, 02 size, and place the dripper. This is in English. Nice. Okay, they must know that I was calling them. They recommend 20 grams of coffee. We're not going to do that. And 240 milliliters of water. What? People are crazy. And then removing the holder, wearing gloves. Turn the dripper over and holding the longer side of the holder. Use your thumb to push the edge of the hole to remove the holder. Okay, so if it gets too hard, you can use some hot water. So I guess if we want to remove this, holding the longer side of the holder, use your thumb to push on the edge of the hole to remove from the holder. Well, this does seem rather tenuous. Okay, we're not going to do that. All right, there's nothing else in there. All right, let's put that back in here. This goes there. That goes away. So this is the Mugen, right? Smoked. So the smoking color is very similar to the original Suiren. There it is down here at the bottom. You could take this off somehow. I'm not going to break it on our first outing. So, all right. So let's see here. So if we realize with the V60 style drippers, now this is also called the V60 Mugen. Now, why it's V60? I mean, V60s tend to have this ribbing, right? The V60 thing is the big orifice at the bottom and the ribbing on the side, the 12 long and 12 thin, short ribs. This one just has this crown effect, right? You can kind of see it here, the crown effect. And actually, it looks so dark. I put a little more light on it. That doesn't really give much more light. Anyway, so Kira says if it can be removed from the base, I think you can actually fit it on the switch base. Really? All right, let's see if we can remove this. All right, we'll break it. If we're going to break it, we're going to break it the first time out. At least that will allow me to buy another one. There's a technique to this that would make it easier. You know, it's probably one of those things that you have to hold it in the right place. All right, forget that. And then this comes off. I don't know why you want to do that. Just sell me the thing complete. I don't want to. I'm not a mix and match kind of guy, right? All right, so it's got this crown. Oh, so the crown is actually only on the exterior of it, right? So you can feel it's really ridged. Like if you look, see, it's really ridged. Right, that I thought was on the inside, but it's on the outside. So on the inside, it's just generally smooth. Now you can feel it here, like there's a seam there, some kind of seam. There's a little bit of seam here, but these are indented seams, right? These are inside. They're like grooved. They're not like raised. So maybe the bowl is the same shape. Maybe that's where the V60 part comes in. Yes, the clasp comes off the rubber base of the switch. Does it? You know, I had this thing called there's a brewer called the Seed to Summit that has this like mesh insert in this collapsible silicone cone. And once you pull that out, you just can't get it back in. It's a real pain in the butt. So forget it. We're not going to do that. There are certain things I will shy away from. All right, so that's pretty much, it's got this like little flappy thing, which nice. It's nice. It's nice enough. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your filter, and I just realized what filter these are. This is not the V60 filter I thought it was. This is actually a Sybarist filter. I have them in an unmarked bag, and I realized this morning when I was pulling out, I was like, oh, this is a Sybarist. I've actually never really used a Sybarist. I know anything about the Sybarist. I don't know why you want a filter that goes faster. I don't know. Just grind fine. We're just trying to grind coarser. Well, who knows? Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over. Fold this over. And then this thing. Oh, no, yesterday we were using the other filter. This is from 2 days ago. Okay, so there that is. Nice. And then I got the brewing thing again. So we got this here. So it just kind of goes on like that. Nice. Yeah, all right, cool. What we're going to do now is we're going to grind up some coffee. We're going to use our trusty scale here. And we're going to go back and use yesterday's coffee, the Milfaco Wash Typica from the Philippines. Peter, how are you, man? Good to see you. So again, 24 grams. We may not use this again because we're going to be running out of coffee soon. But I have been enjoying this coffee. There we go. 24 grams. We're almost out. Nice and freshly roasted, just about a week old. All right, let's go and bring this in here. There we go. So like we talked about before, this coffee, which has some nice aromatics, is from Region 12, from the southern part of the Philippines, grown by a co-op or made by, put together by a co-op called Milfaco, gifted to me by one of my good friends, TJ Ryan. And we've been enjoying this last couple of days, haven't we? All right, so here we go. Here's our coffee. Let's put this in here. Nice. Okay, oh, we need our scale. Okay, we're going like this now, right? That's what we decided yesterday. We're going to go like this so that you can get the better, fuller feel. Timer. We got our water. It's all ready to go. We're going to You know, at the old shop, I used to have everything on induction, but here I've got it on open flame burners, which really is a different way of it just reacts different. It's so interesting. Like the way the water boils, the way the kettle feels. All right, here we go. Oh, let me turn this on. Okay, here we go. Here we go. $22 grams. Now it's starting to drip through. Just want to get a good base on there. 16 seconds, 17, 20 seconds into it. Now I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and wet. So those of you guys who have a lot of brewers, I'm interested to know, what do you really think? Do you really find one is better than the other? Like truly better. Like if you're putting the same coffee on each brewer, you're really finding tremendous differences. Like especially between pour over brewers. I'm curious to know what you think. I'm curious to know. I mean, like I will tell you, there's not that much of a difference. But the truth of the matter is, I don't really like spend a lot of time doing brewing comparisons between pour over brewers or similar style brewers. I've typically just kind of chosen a brewer after some testing, and then we've gone and worked with it for a long time. All right, 199. Oh gosh, 200 grams. We're only at a minute 30. We're going a little bit fast. I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing here. I'm just talking. Every day is a little bit different adventure, isn't it? I tell you. Yeah, so this big white oak slab that I have been given is really interesting because it's like 19 feet long. And I wasn't going to make a setup that had a 19. I mean, that was never the intention. 19 feet is for the space we're talking about. It's pretty huge. But 19 feet. It's like I feel guilty to cut it down because it's like I was reading something online. They're like, yeah, long slabs in excess of 12 feet in white oak is super rare. And I was like, oh God, it's a beautiful piece, but it's like, oh man, it's so huge. But so we have to work some new things about it. All right, 270, 225. George is with us. What's going on, George? Love seeing this coffee, but I'm enjoying the Phoenix roast of the Freddie Rodriguez beans. Oh, nice. I'm glad you're enjoying that. I'm glad you're enjoying that. I happened to see George over the weekend, and I gave him some coffees since we were hanging out, having cigars, and one of those was the last week's Freddie Rodriguez coffee. Really pretty coffee that we talked about last week that was gifted to me by Christopher Ferron, who at the time when I got in 2022 was the green buyer for Phoenix, and really great guy, really great guy as a person, as well as a good force within our industry. Someone that's really thinking progressively about coffee and how to, present better coffees and source better coffees, as well as a really great green buyer. I first met him on a trip several years ago. I think it was 2014. We were down in Huehuetenango in Mexico, and we were with a trip that was put together by the guys from Crop to Cup. They put together this trip. We went down there and had a really wonderful time. All right, 356, 340. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's have a look at that. There we go. All right, so here's the Mugen brewer. Different, but not so different than other pour over drip brewers. So just take the paper filter out like this. Toss that in the rubbish. And then from here, we can just, wash it. I'll give it a quick rinse while it's here. Excellent. Peter says, I had to pour fast because my grinder is not working properly. Oh, no. I can only grind very fine and not coarse. So how, so I'm curious to know this since you're making that adjustment, which, by the way, is really the right thing to do. Like, you kind of have to be when you're making coffee, like especially if you're in a professional environment, like you kind of have to deal with the cards that you're dealt, right? So if you have a little bit of issue on one day or the next day, you just gotta adapt and find a way. So since your grinder is broken and you can only grind very fine, how are you able to? Because I do find that sometimes, like even though we have, but once you get really, really fine, there's just so much like resistance. Sometimes it can be hard to overcome. Are you just gunning it really hard to try to get through that time? And do you have a particular time parameter that you're trying to work with? Peter also says it's not the freezing, but oxygen, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the response to what George said before. What it proves is that storing in a freezer can be successful. These beans are from 2022, but are burst. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So here's the thing. Like I said, that coffee was gifted to me in July of 2022, and I brought it home. But probably took a couple of days for me to get home from that trip. Put it into the freezer. Was in frozen storage until January of this year. It has not been in frozen storage since January. So essentially, we're talking. Let's say that coffee was roasted. That coffee was roasted at the end of June or early July, and I was gifted to it like in July, and so, or maybe late July, was gifted, or it was roasted, whatever. But it is essentially a 6 months old coffee. What I mean by that is that with freezing, when you freeze it, you're holding that coffee at that moment in time, and it will hold relatively indefinitely. At least I haven't been able to find the end of the road on that one, but relatively indefinitely until you thaw it out. And then once you thaw it out, it starts from that point. So it's as though the coffee at this point in June of 2024 would be like it would have been in January of 2023, because that was 6 months after July 2022. So these are my theories. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It's not the freezing, but oxygen, I think. Well, I think the freezing, you mean the freezing is what holds it, or the lack of oxygen? I think it's probably a combination of both, actually. Keone says, my wife likes pour overs, so I have a few. It seems like there's a difference between flat and cone drippers. Okay, good. She doesn't see me making her cup and does comment on the different tastes. Oh, interesting. See, that's probably a better thing, because, I've got my own prejudices, and I'm like, well, that shouldn't make any difference. I use a mortar to grind. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, but not for the grinder you're talking about that has a problem. That's not a mortar pestle grinder. Actually, that's the hardcore way to go. I remember I was in Istanbul, Turkey in 2017 for their coffee fest, and this dude was doing the old Turkish style, and he's got this big mortar, got this big pestle, and he's just sitting there. This thing was like a sledgehammer. He's like, dunk, and he's all muscular. I'm like, dude, they're making me feel I'm feeling all self-conscious now. I should be lifting weights or something, or at least crushing coffee. But that's definitely the hardcore way to do it. All right, let's have a taste of our elixir today. I let it cool down a little bit while I was chit-chatting here. George says, I agree it's a combo of temp and exposure to oxygen. And Peter says, cold coffee will draw moisture, so don't open the coffee seal until it's room temperature. Oh, interesting. Okay. There we are. Nice and clean. Maybe, Peter, if you have this problem with the grinder, maybe you need the Sybaris filters, because theoretically the Sybaris is supposed to be, I think, a looser weave of materials, so they're supposed to go faster through it. It does taste different than yesterday. Maybe a little more robust. A little more body. Still some chocolate notes. Interesting. Actually, I don't know if I like it as much. Actually, there's more. That's not true. I think the difference is that there seems to be more body on today's brew. than yesterday, which I remember being a little bit more on the brighter side. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. All right. There's the Mugen. The Mugen, not bad. Well, I mean, I never know really what to say with things like this because it's like, oh, this is the Mugen. This is a different brewer, and it brews coffee. And maybe I'm just not critical enough about brewers, right? I'm just looking for a brewer that will work, that I can work with, that that allows me to manipulate the roast should I need, or manipulate the brew should I need to manipulate it, meaning that I can change the grind setting or pour harder, pour slower. I mean, it's nice, and evidently it comes apart. Not so readily, but it comes apart. All right, this is going to be an interim measure, but every once in a while it catches me and the battery on the transmitter dies. Hopefully that works. Oh, goodness. Okay, that should be better. Yeah, every once in a while, transmitter dies. I'm glad you say something. All right, so where was I saying? Where did I leave off? Okay, let's go back. So I'm going to presume, okay, so our conclusion is that the Mugen isn't either better or worse, but it requires a user to learn techniques of proper usage. Yes, I would say that's probably a good statement to say. I don't know if anything's anything truly better or worse. Yeah, the audio did drop. Sorry about that. Oh, it happened 5 minutes ago? Son of a gun. Sorry. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. I don't know what I was saying when we cut off. But the Mugen, I mean, nice. I mean, it's cool. I guess how hard will it be for me to get it? Okay, oh, that's easy to get apart now. So now that I've done this, I've broken the seals. That's relatively easy to get back on too. All right. And then the Mugen goes back onto its I was in the middle of cleaning the Mugen. I know, but what was I saying? Like, I'm trying to think about where I was when I was cleaning the Mugen. We talked about the freezer stuff, right? That I said. Kenny says my wife likes to do pour over, so I have a few. It seems that there is a difference between flat and cone drippers because he serves his wife, but he doesn't really show his wife how to make it, and she does notice a difference. So, and then you use a mortar sometimes. Was I talking about the thing in Turkey? Anyway, whatever I was saying, it wasn't that monumental. All right, so I do like. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice brewer. It's cool to have. It was 663 yen. Here it is, right here, 663. So that's about $4 from Amazon Japan, from the Hario store in Amazon Japan. Of course, with shipping, it's going to cost you a bit more. I think in the United States, this is probably like closer to $20. I mean, it's not, even in the United States, it's not terribly expensive. So it's kind of, I bought it because it was cheap. And I was like, I needed to fill my Amazon cart. And it looks kind of cool. I've seen it on the catalogs before. And, there's a little bit of a lip here. So if you're putting it on your glass, like it won't just slide off. Right. Yeah. They do. I believe they do sell this in the U.S., Keone. I think I saw it on the Hario USA website. I think it's like closer to $20. I think it was. But yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's really all that I can think of talking about today. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, that tomorrow, while we did have something scheduled, we're going to do the Kefek flour dripper. I do have now to go and take our slab of white oak up to a mill in Pennsylvania and have it milled down. So I'm going to go do that in the morning, and that's going to take who knows how long. So we decided we're going to push the Kefek flour dripper to Monday's schedule. We're not going to have a live stream tomorrow, but be back on Friday with our topic of the day for Friday, the breakfast of salarymen, where we're talking about like coffee, since it's all Japanese coffee brewers. I thought, well, let's do a little bit about the salarymen and what they have for breakfast. Peter says, if you're desperate, you can do a hobo pour over. Oh, okay. If you're desperate, you can do hobo pour over, fold the paper napkin in a cone, and use it. And use foil as a cone. Oh, oh, I love that. We'll have to try that one day. So you're using the foil. Are you folding the foil, or are you like creating rings out of the foil? I'm interested to know. Let's have a little taste more of the coffee. Better. Very chocolatey now. I think this would be a nice cold brew. Anyway, I won't keep you waiting. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you spending another day here with me. We're back again on Friday with more coffee Q&A, more coffee talk, and maybe some toast. All right, so hope you have a wonderful day, and see you next time.